What's going on? Jimmy Shively. What's going on, man? Thank you. I saw you commented on my last video I just put up, the farming one. That's been like the best performing video I've had in the last 10 videos. People apparently want to see more bucket farms, which is not what I'm going to do today. What time is it there? It's 2:20 here. I'm going to wait a second and see if I can get any more people. Maybe not. It's a weird time. And I don't think that, however the algorithm works out on YouTube, I think I'm getting shadow banned, but I think I'm getting subtly not promoted, which was bound to happen. So in just a second here, I'll get started. All right. So I was doing my taxes and I started procrastinating and I came across this shit. And normally when I talk about things, I try to at least try to allow for the fact to present it with some humility. I don't know if I always succeed. I probably don't. But I try to. In the way I speak and approach it, allow for the fact that I'm a human who makes a lot of mistakes and I could be absolutely wrong about whatever I'm presenting. And if I am, I hope to be corrected. It's 12:21 there. You're in North California. Oh, nice. Yes, this is live. Every now and then when I'm on my computer and doing shit, if I see something that I feel like I need to address, that's when I typically do live streams. I don't schedule them. I used to schedule them a little bit more, but I used to also have more guests on, and I haven't had any guests on in a while. I should again. There's not any intentional reason I haven't done it. I just haven't done it. Mostly because the way I do things is I don't want to schedule things. I don't want to be scheduled. I want to do some shit right now when I feel like doing it. And right now at 2:30 in the morning, I don't know. You're welcome to jump on and join me if you want, but I can't imagine most of my friends on Facebook who are up right now are going, you know what I want to do? I want to get on camera. That's just not what a lot of people are doing. But okay. So let's look at this. I saw this shit and I don't know where you stand on the mask thing and the COVID thing. I personally, I'm sure that if you paid any attention to my stuff, you get the gist. I think it's a racket. I think it's ridiculous. Oops, that's the wrong screen. But let me try that again. But this is what I saw when I got on earlier. Well, when I was procrastinating from doing my taxes. I thought it was a fucking joke. Like I had to look at this CNET.com to make sure it's not a satire site. And it's not. Double masking for COVID-19. Fauci now recommends wearing 2 masks at once. Again, normally I try to not be too confident in my own understanding of a situation, but with this one, I'm just going to come out and say it point blank. This is an exercise in getting people to prioritize authority over logic. Simple as that. It has been for a long time with the this 19 stuff. I'm going to try to dodge around words that'll trigger the AI, but it has been for a while. This whole the last year's situation has been one big psyop training exercise in getting people to prioritize what an authority says over everything else, over their well-being, over their common sense, over what they know, and over clear contradictions between that, even when the authority contradicts itself, which has happened a shit ton. None of that matters. The important thing here is that they're training people to prioritize authority. This is irrational. And we'll just scan through this real quick. And I haven't really read it. I'll give my thoughts on it. And then after that, I've got an analogy from when I worked at Sonic that I think will be useful to people. Katie just walked in and then walked out. All right. Fauci now recommends wearing 2 masks. 2 masks are the new mask, and we explain how to double mask properly. Do it. Latest recommendations for slowing and stopping the spread of that double masking. Dr. Fauci, who's not a virologist, by the way. He has no advanced medical degree. He is a normal MD, not a virologist. You can look up his credentials. The practice of wearing 2 masks because it just makes common sense, the chief medical advisor told NBC News Today. He's not wrong, according to Amanda Caprito. Not wrong because layering masks reduces the porosity of your face covering, which means it's doing a better job of protecting you from infectious respiratory droplets. Just like layering jackets protects you from the cold, and just as an N95 has a better shot at protecting you from environmental smoke. Why would you want that? While cloth masks are more porous, it's not just about common sense, though. The concept of double masking is backed by some scientific studies, and no, wearing 2 masks won't suffocate you. Here's what to know about this shit. Science behind double masking. Fauci's recommendation comes in light of new strains of the Rona that are thought to be more transmittable than the primary strain, or than the previous primary strain. With more transmissible bogeyman, that means every exposure has increased likelihood, blah, blah, said Andrea Love, an immunologist and microbiologist. We must be more stringent about behaviors now, including social distancing, minimizing trips to public spaces, avoiding indoor spaces, and always wearing a mask. No mention of the BA-CCINE, but not just any mask will do. Quality matters. Masks work by trapping or blocking respiratory droplets that contain virus particles. The more physical barrier, the more of these droplets you can block, hereby reducing the risk to yourself and others. The more layers, the better, especially if you're wearing a thin one. Blah, blah, blah. It's important to understand that cloth masks, like the ones worn by most people, were intended to be a stopgap measure, Many cloth face coverings offer little or no protection depending on the material, number of layers, and fit, which is why health experts recommend layering. Apparently now they do. In fact, 3 layers is really best. A recent, not yet peer-reviewed study, no shit, tested 11 mask materials and found that masks that are more protective when they have 3 layers, 2 tightly woven cloth layers, and a non-woven, high-efficiency filter material sandwiched in between. If you don't already have a mask with 3 layers, you can mimic this by wearing a cloth mask and a surgical mask. More about this below. You know what would really work better than layering cloth is putting one of these fucking plastic bags on. Save a lot plastic. Doesn't let any droplets through. Let's see what Jimmy's got to say before I jump back over there. Two guns. All right. Well, you better I don't know if you've been watching the ATF on those, but it's probably not going to, in my opinion, it's not going to be super long before all the people who reposted the shit on Facebook or who got little stickers on their toolbox that says, "Come and take them out of my cold dead hands," those people are going to get a knock on the door, or they're going to go register them. It'll be something, but luckily, and I never thought I'd say luckily, the silver lining of me being a felon and having forfeited all an $100,000 gun collection in my plea deal is that was legally owned, is that I don't have to worry about this shit anymore. It's off my head. If I still had that $100,000 gun collection, half of which I had purchased in my name, I'd be a lot more concerned about the gun laws right now. But as it is, it's like, sorry, I don't have shit. You can suck it. I don't know I don't know. And ultimately, it doesn't matter to me because whether it does or it doesn't, the only thing, whether it does or it doesn't is a moot point. What we do know, if we just assume it is, if we assume it is all exactly what they say it is, we can look at the CDC's own numbers and know that it is less dangerous than the common flu. We can look at the CDC's numbers and know that the flu has disappeared. So we can just assume that they're all bundled together. Either way, we don't need to be acting like complete fucking morons. And that's what we're doing. And it's escalating. It's not going away with the rollout of the hot shot. I didn't expect it to. I know a lot of people did. I was hoping maybe it would. But yeah, I would, that is ideal, which is sort of why I've been tinkering around with bucket farming and, just that sort of shit. It's just learning the skill set that I remember, all these things that I'm tinkering around with a lot of things kind of that I haven't posted videos of, but it's all shit that I remember watching my grandma do and thinking it was stupid, what a waste of time, and what's wrong with this old kook. And now I'm going, well, damn, grandma set me up with a lot of the baseline knowledge to do some of this stuff, which is cool. All right, let's return to this ridiculousness. Hold on. Maybe later I clicked open this not yet peer-reviewed study in a different tab. Maybe later I'll go. I like to dig through these things sometimes and figure out who's doing these studies and then, who they are, look into them a little bit. And these are all people from Virginia Tech. It a shocking amount of the time with things like this, if you dig into it, you'll see that the study or the new data is really just some grad student did some little study thing that was funded by fill in the blank, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, the usual predictable candidates. One thing about science is that it always agrees with whoever's funding it. All right, where were we? Oh, how to wear two masks. How to wear two masks if you're absolutely shamelessly retarded. When you're walking outdoors and aren't in proximity to people outside of your household, a single mask should suffice. Love says, gargling the balls of the establishment. If you plan to be near people who aren't in your household, however, even outdoors, a simple solution is to double mask. No, it's not. A simple solution is to stop participating in the bullshit. I don't. Like I said, I haven't. I'm not tooting my horn. I'm mostly trying to encourage other people to do it. I know that when I walk in the store, me and my girlfriend are almost always the only ones, at least in my part of suburban Kansas City, that are not wearing masks. If you get more into the inner city, then fewer people are wearing that shit. But my point is that not everybody is completely lost their mind, and more people with common sense need to be stepping up and just doing the uncomfortable thing and walking into Walmart without a mask on, even if you get a look. Walmart won't chase you down, I promise. My girlfriend gets more comments than I do because people are apparently scared enough of the virus to say something to a woman who's alone, but not concerned enough about the virus to risk pissing off a grown ass man who's 6'1", 200 pounds. So that's about where that is. Let's see. So Love suggests wearing one mask if you're outdoors and with your household, which is absurd. And two, if you're going to be around people who aren't in your household, even if you're outdoors. Wearing two masks make it hard to breathe? Yes, it will. Wearing two masks shouldn't make it any harder to breathe. Love lied, abusing her status in academia. Several studies have demonstrated that wearing masks don't impede oxygen consumption, and many more have demonstrated that they do to dangerous levels. The size of the oxygen molecule is orders of magnitude smaller than the pore sizes of masks, Love says. But the problem is many people don't realize the difference between discomfort and a true physiological effect. That is correct. Many people do not. However, if common sense dictates that two coverings make it less porous, then for spit droplets to get through, then certainly they make it also less porous and harder for oxygen to get through. You don't need a degree or a study or nothing to know that. You just know it. You put on a mask and you walk and you know it. Now, what you don't know is whether that's physiological effects or discomfort. That is true. And that's why I think that this bitch and this article and the shit like this is particularly nefarious because people don't know that. And so you can do real harm to yourself if, you know, if you're a kid who's running track or playing dodgeball at school and also has asthma. I mean, there's just a number of ways that this could go bad. And there already have been a lot of ways. I mean, you'll have trouble finding them on Google, but lots of people have died from these masks. Even with two face masks, you'll still be able to get the oxygen you need and dispel carbon dioxide from your body to may not feel comfortable at first, but it's still safe to wear them. Sure, it may take some getting used to, especially if you wear 2 masks while exercising. Do not do that. You may get sweatier than usual as the weather warms up, but a little discomfort is a lot better than contracting COVID-19 or being responsible for spreading it. No, it's not. No, it's not. Especially if you're young. If you're, what is it? Kids under 20 have like 0% chance of dying from it. I live in the most infected county in a red state. I worked until recently, worked all through 2020 in the second most infected county in the red state. I never wore a mask. I've had no problems. And I was just an essential worker, so I worked through the whole thing. It's complete bullshit. If you do get it, don't worry about it. Unless you're already dying, you'll be fine. God damn it. This live stream's gonna get me in trouble. But regarding discomfort and getting used to things, what she's talking about is your body can adapt to anything. It's called a tolerance, and anybody who's done drugs knows about it. Anybody who's done it, your body can get used to anything. You can get used to 45 minutes of sleep at night. You can get used to drinking a handle of vodka a day. You can get used to all sorts of terrible living conditions before it normalizes. In rehab and in AA, people talk a lot about the new normal. You stop getting high, it just becomes normal. But if you talk to somebody who's never done drugs and tell them that, here, you can shoot up this mixture of meth and Oxycontin and it won't do anything to you. You'll just be normal. Somebody who's never done that'd blow their fucking mind. If you gave somebody who'd never done these things that shot, they wouldn't be able to function for a week. So the fact that this doctor is using a very real biological adapting feature, which is cool, really. It's very cool that we can adapt to basically anything. That doesn't mean it's right for you. Turns out oxygen's really important, especially for developing children. How to properly double mask. Don't do it. Simply wearing one cloth mask on top of the other. Blah, blah, blah. Dr. Fauci told today, if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense that it would be more effective. It also makes common sense that it would be harder to breathe air, even though that's being denied. And this is the problem with a lot of shit going on today, is that the thought pattern, the thought process doesn't have a logical outcome. It's like, well, why not mask with plastic? At what point do you stop getting the oxygen you need? Are you telling me that because they don't address the cloth quality at all. You're telling me my Egyptian cotton sheets and this big fat knitted scarf are the same thing? They're both cloth, but they're treated the same. It's absurd. And it's all a training exercise in ignoring what you know for what you're told. That's what it is. I'm going to stop that. That doesn't work because friction. Anything you have signed for your right to bear arms, to be infringed upon is constitutionally. That is correct. I mean, you're right. But I sure as shit would not be doing anything illegal. That's for sure right there. It does sound like an Onion article. That's what I thought it was. Yeah. I agree. Freedom and truth over everything. And I guess I named this video Logic Over Authority because that seems to be the line that's getting blurred the most. And I think that like truth and freedom truth can be sort of subjective. Truth is broad enough that it has sort of a subjective-y component to it, and freedom is an ideological value more. It's not really apples to apples. Like logic and authority, you're comparing which two information systems for making a decision. At least that's how I thought about it when I titled this. But freedom is something that, I mean, really it's obvious. It's becoming more and more obvious. Shit tons of people don't care about. Twice now. Yes, you did twice, which is pretty good because I'm kind of crabby. This shit makes me crabby. Like, I just sometimes I read this shit and I want to find whoever the scientist is. I just want to knock her the fuck out. I'm a gentleman. I never hit a woman, but you're giving this dangerous, unspecified, broad stroke advice and trying to guilt people into doing shit that could actually be fucking dangerous. You know, depending on who they're putting the mask on. It's such a complete abuse of your authority position. The Unbiased Science Podcast is co-hosted. I clicked through on this Andrea Love's link. It's co-hosted by which the Unbiased Science Podcast is such a fucking loaded, biased title. It's like when politicians say, this is not a political decision. It's a whatever, fill in the blank. Of course it's political. The minute you made that fucking statement, it was political. It's political because you're a fucking politician. This is biased as fuck. Is devoted to objective, critical appraisal of... I can't even read this shit. I agree with all this stuff. Felon in Cali, a felon in Kansas. Who else is still here? Klepto, Cammy. Are you guys felons in your state? Everybody's a fucking felon anymore. The other thing about guns is that they're expensive. Now I will go ahead and say one thing I have been doing lately is this is totally legal. But since I've been unemployed, I've been able to get to the sporting goods stores open, you know, when I need to. So I've been able to pick up 9mm 223 5.56 ammo when it comes in, and flip that on Arms List. If you're not familiar with Arms List, you should be armslist.com. Check it out. But it's a classified site for for sporting goods enthusiasts. And I've made a lot of money. Not a lot of money. I've made a very good markup. I can triple my money all day long on 9mm. I could have used you earlier. I was looking for a college student? You a college student? I was looking for a college student whose identity I could jack for Spotify, because students get half price Spotify, and I'm not about paying $10 to another big tech overlord. But I found a student. Turns out my cousin is one. But we'll count it. We'll count it anyways. I was not in June. Actually, I got arrested when I was 15 for the first time. And then I never got arrested again until I was 30, when my house was getting raided. So I thought I'd made it past the dangerous part, but I had not. Okay, let me jump over. What was I going to do? Story time. Before I lose my train of thought anymore. When I was in high school, I worked at Sonic, and it was an awesome job because my manager was cool, and I was a grill cook, so whatever. I worked in the kitchen. I was 15. I was 15. My boss let me smoke cigarettes. I was good at the job because it's basically just speed. You just have to keep on top of things and be fast. And I'm SC Dom. I'm fast at things. And well, I'll skip that. Anyways, it was a fun job for a year. But when I was training, if the monitor is the grill, on my left, which I guess probably screen right, whatever, over here, we've got the freezer with frozen burgers, then the grill, and then over here, we've got like the condiments and shit. And he said there are two things that will get you fired immediately: if you send out a raw burger, and if you cross-contaminate, because the raw meat should never touch the prepared food or the condiments and stuff. And over here at the freezer, we had tongs. These were special tongs. They stayed with the freezer. They touched frozen burgers. You grab a stack of frozen burgers, 4 or 5, and throw them on the grill and put the tongs back in the freezer. Those tongs never left the freezer. They never touched the grill. They never touched the counter. You only touched the handle of them. If you touched a burger with your glove, you changed it. If you touched the end of the tongs with your glove, you changed it. You didn't fuck around with that. That's the raw meat. You don't cross-contaminate. Over here on the grill, you've got your spatulas and shit. And then over here is where you put it on the buns. So, but the important thing is that these tongs are the only thing that touches the raw meat. And they never leave there, and they never touch anything else. If you set them down on the counter in front of the mayonnaise, you got to clean all that shit down and disinfect it. If it touches the mayonnaise, you got to throw it out. Like, these things were radioactive. They didn't go anywhere, nowhere, never. That's because of fuck, what's the word? Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. But anyways, that illustrates an important reality about pathogens and how they're transmitted, or even not even pathogens, just bacteria, viruses, all, whether they're harmful for you or not. It's contact. you're touching things, you're touching surfaces. Surfaces touch surfaces. Things can stay alive on surfaces for who knows how long. Nobody knows how long the Rona can stay alive on any surface because nobody knows anything about the Rona at all. Somehow, a year into this, nobody's been able to figure out anything about it except for how to make a hot shot that apparently doesn't work. But I think that this is just such a critical key thing. And I don't know if people have forgotten that contact with things is how you spread shit, or if people never knew it because maybe they never worked at Sonic like I didn't had that fantastic growing experience. But when you see people putting on the same snot rag, they're not washing their hands before they touch it. They haven't washed that thing in God knows how long. It lives in their center console. We all know this. What they're doing is they're contact transferring whatever's on their hands or on that mask straight up to their face. If, say, you pull up to a gas station and, like any good non-thinking, law-abiding person, you open your center console and put on your mask and get out and touch the keypad to put in your credit card at the pump, then touch the pump, and then walk inside and touch the door handle and touch whatever you're doing. Let's say you're touching a fountain drink, because you can get fountain drinks, which is absurd. Touching a fountain drink, then touching the lids and the straws that are just out there for everybody to touch, putting it on, whatever, then walking up to the register, touching your card again in the keypad, or touching money, whatever, walking back out, putting the pump back up, getting in the car, then touching your mask and putting it back in the center console for next time you use it. You just put everything you fucking touched into your face pouch. If you look at restaurants in the kitchen, if you look at tattoo parlors, all these businesses where people are in the business of not spreading shit and have been, you can see how they treat contact. It's the things you touch. It's not the spit droplets that are flying through the air. The air isn't saturated with soggy smog of spit. If people are spitting into your mouth when they talk, you don't need to be fucking with that person anyways. That's it. That's my story. That's my that's what I got. What is your major? Oh yeah, I'm sure in Cali it's way worse. Here in Kansas City, it's triple all day long. Quadruple if you want to hold out for it, but I really don't. 9mm, I could probably get quadruple on 5.56 all day long, but that stuff is that's hard to come by. They don't like being outside their house for long. That is true. I don't know how long. They do live outside the host. Not for long, but I bet as much time as since the last person touched that pump, they probably lived that long. Since the last person touched the gas station doorknob, they lived that long. Since the last person went and put all their filthy fucking hands on the drink lids at the fountain, they last that long. You can't get a refill, at least here. The gas stations won't let you get a refill, but everybody can touch all the lids. Yeah, I mean, restaurants aren't always great at keeping stuff from being not nasty, but they do tend to Like they at least try. There are efforts in place. I don't know about Duncan, but Sonic was very particular about the meat, the raw meat. If you send out a raw burger, if you are seen cross contaminating, you're gone. That was it. But ultimately, when you're dealing with people who work at Dunkin' Donuts or Sonic, you're dealing with a lower class of people. At the Sonic I was at, it was high school students, and the actual adults who work there, not the sort of people that really function that well in life. It is what it is. If you're 45 and your accumulated life experience has granted you the skill set to flip burgers at Sonic, you're not accumulating skills. Which is part of the problem with minimum wage being raised, but I don't know that I need to go down a whole nother crabby ass topic that makes me crabby. Speaking of nasty, the last, and I'm going to scumbag Olive Garden because it's a douchebag company, but the last time I was in Olive Garden, don't ever look up at the ceiling at restaurants because, there's cobwebs and if they got those little plexiglass looking lights in the drop ceiling covering the fluorescent light bulbs, you can always see the bugs that have died and fallen in that shit. But Olive Garden was surprisingly gross up around its chandeliers for what is, a sit down restaurant where you have servers. You're not, two people can't eat at Olive Garden without breaking $40. You'd think that they'd be able to clean the cobwebs out from around the chandeliers, especially since there's one over every booth. You're back now. Hopefully it's you and not me. But I don't know. That is all I had for today. If you guys are just getting here, if you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. I just realized that I'm kind of rounding the corner and closing in on 1,000 subscribers, which means that I can get rich. I can get rich at monetizing, and y'all can give me super chats, since I can tell I've got 6 or 7 of you sitting around trying to figure out how the fuck to give me free money. Thank you, Jimmy. Oh yeah, and I have been positive. I don't normally, when I get on here and have something to stream about or talk, normally my channel is sort of an output of blah blah blah. Day in and day out, I'm much more positive and not concerned by this shit. I really don't sit around and dwell on it. I do random ass shit like Bucket Farm, and I've been doing a little investing, or trying to. The market's so fucking weird that I don't know. My silver's doing good. My corn's doing good. Most of my stocks are not doing great, and my crypto across the board has been about break even. But I really don't trust any of it except for the silver, because I have that in hard asset. I don't have a hole in my roof. Are you asking because my mic's dropping or because it's windy? There's a lot of wind blowing outside. I wouldn't expect you to be able to pick it up on the mic, though. Good. Glad you caught it. I just do them. They're always impromptu. Oh, you're clever. No, hats are also used to cover thinning fucked off hair. Nobody wears hats to protect them from the sun, really. They're fashion accessories. And love to you too. If you're just showing up or if you're just leaving, I'm done with what I had. I'm done with what I had, and if anybody wants to talk about anything, I'm open to it. Otherwise, I'll probably wrap up shortly, but I know normally when I do live streams, there's a person or two who have generally typology questions. But however, so if anybody has any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, I'm all here for you. Huh. I when I grew up, I never had pets. My ex-wife says that explains a lot about me. I never wanted pets because I don't like things that need maintenance. We have 2 cats, and I kind of like them. I do like reptiles. I think that. I think actually, I think animals are just cool in general. I don't know that I'd want to own them, but I do like animals. Sort of. Yeah, but on a weird ass schedule. Do you sleep? I see that you're here. Yeah, since I'm on unemployment sleep schedule, basically every basically every night I just rotate an hour later. So, probably tomorrow I'll wake up at 3 and who knows when I'll go to bed. I need to normalize it. Florida's cool. I almost moved to Florida right after I married my ex-wife, and I'm glad I didn't because that marriage went to shit real fast. Um, but I do like Florida, and we're actually going to Florida in the beginning of May for vacation. I've always liked Florida. I've always been about whether it's swamp wildlife or the ocean wildlife, that stuff is fucking cool. I've always liked the shit out of that. And actually, if you walk up the stairs in here in my house, I've got a painting of a jellyfish above the bathroom, above the door that goes into the bathroom. It's pretty cool. I do like that stuff. I don't think it's the mic that's your problem, Mike. I think it's the voice. I think you need to work on sounding more like me. I am right-handed. But what is it I do? I play pool left-handed, and I can shoot a bow and arrow either way. Alligators creep me out. Like, if they're in water. Dark, murky water creeps me out. Alligators don't, but whatever's lurking in that water, that creeps me out. My ex-wife is from Florida. Not well, she bounced around, but when I met her, she had just she worked at the Hard Rock Tampa. She was a poolside waitress, and she and her best friend, who also worked there, they were both poolside waitresses at Hard Rock in Tampa. They just quit their jobs and on sort of a whim left Tampa and came back to Kansas City, which is where she was originally from. And so when I met her, she was like fresh Florida girl, even though it was in Kansas City. And I remember talking to her and shit, and she would go water skiing in lakes with alligators in it. And I'm thinking, fuck no. The hell is wrong with you? You have no self-preservation instinct at all? Nah. It's the truth. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what yours sounds like. If you want, Mike, or anybody really, like, I won't kick anybody out, but Mike, if you want to jump in that link I just dropped, if you've got yours and want to test it out, you can, and let other people hear. I just make sure that, I'd make sure that you've got your mic as the actual input source to your computer, and also the little logo on it, have the logo facing you. Got Florida chicks all over. It's about fucking time. 4 a.m. It's an hour ahead. We're having a late night Florida animal party. I know a guy who, when he got when he got his house raided in Wichita, he had a pet alligator. That dude was a fucking mess. Yeah, it's the dark water more than the alligators. Alligators by themselves or on land, whatever, not concerned about it. I would try to wrestle an alligator out of water. I wouldn't try in water. And yeah. Could be. I can't write well with my left hand, although I have used that. Like, I have intentionally wrote things with my left hand if I wanted to forge something. I can't. I'm sorry I offended you. No, that's me. Well, fine. I try. I put myself out there. I try to be a good friend. I try to help you with your mic issues. I try to explain that you need to sound more like me, but you don't want the help. Yeah, I married one. I know. I do know. But I like him. Miami's better than New York City. Andrea, New York City. I only know one Alaska person, I think. They might be more calm, but I'm less calm. All right. I don't know. I've never been to New York City. I'll grant that, but I have been observing the insane politicians and bullshit from a distance. And I can tell you that DC was plenty close to New York. I have no desire to go there at all. I don't think it will be back to the way it was. If New York recovers, it will be years. But probably in not too long, the housing market, well, I don't know what the housing market's like in New York, but I bet that pretty soon across the board, the real estate market will fall out. Well, you got to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. That'll put some gravel in your shit. Got to smoke a pack of Cools a day. You can do that here in Kansas City too. Actually, I remember being a kid and the guy who worked, certain corners are better than others, and motherfuckers get violent for the right corners. But I remember the guy who used to panhandle in front of the movie theater on the plaza. He every night it was the same gig. He'd be out there on crutches, and every night it was the same gig. At 11:30, his girlfriend would come pick him up in an Escalade. He didn't even hide it. Just put his crutches in the back, walked around to the passenger side. He's not injured or disabled or anything. He used to sell us cigarettes before we could buy them. And the Kansas City Star, the newspaper here, did a piece on him once. He made like $250,000 a year 20 years ago. I like Florida. Miami is where I almost moved back in the day. I'm glad I didn't at the time. I would not have had the money for a good place, and I'm comfortable in the ghetto. I actually like the ghetto more than I like living in the suburbs because it's exciting. But my point of reference is Kansas City ghetto. Miami ghetto, I'm under the impression, is a bit of a different thing. Pussy. You're Irish via Chicago, via Austin, via West Palm Beach. I'm a bit Irish as well. My last name is Scottish, and my biggest chunks are German, a quarter German and a quarter Czech. With a dab pen, really? Smoking dabs, or smoking, or are you doing like nicotine vape? Yeah, it's the only one I've got left. But I realized when I turned 34 in December, I've been smoking for 20 years. 20 fucking years. And that I just don't like that reality. So it's been kind of sitting in the back of my brain, get a vape or something at least. Of course it is. Stories about the ghetto. Um I've actually got a bunch of videos in a folder on my phone that my intention was always to compile them into a living in the ghetto sort of video for the channel, but ultimately it never happened. I could tell you, well, I mean, I lived 2 houses down. So at the last place I lived, we lived in the ghetto, and I lived 2 houses down from what was a house of, it was a young family. The parents were like 20 probably. And they had 2 daughters. And when you're young and in the ghetto, when you're young and you live in the ghetto, when you're a young man who lives in the ghetto, there's certain expectations, or he had to be gangster more than I think he wanted to. And I was old enough. I'm old enough that I was basically sort of a seasoned OG, and people never fucked with me directly. But this house next door got fucked with a lot, and there were a handful of drive-bys. And the first time that I recall there being a drive-by when it was close enough to affect me, I was sitting in the driveway, and because I didn't have a garage there where I could fuck around and smoke cigarettes. So I was sitting in the driveway, I had the laptop on my lap, I was sitting in a lawn chair, and it was a one-way street. Car comes down the street to right, and I hear gunshots, which I'm used to. You hear gunshots every night. But these were close as fuck. And I tossed the laptop, dove left, hit the fucking dirt. Army crawled around the back of the house and into the back door that Katie opened for me. What happened is this car came down left to right and started shooting at the house that these guys were in because there was some beef earlier. And they came out and returned fire. And so there was a firefight going on at the end of my driveway, and I just it hit the dirt and fucking ran in the back. It all worked out okay. I got to know, when I moved in, I made a point of getting to know the young family up the street a little bit. And I wanted to talk to him, and I wanted him to see me. What I really want to do is I wanted this kid to look at me and know which house I lived in and know which cars I drove. Because in these crossfires, in these shootouts that would happen, there were a lot of stray bullets that hit a lot of cars. I wanted him to know, because it gets in people's subconscious, I wanted him to know what cars and house not to fuck with. And because when in the heat of the moment, you're not going to think about something like that, but instinctually, you will aim away from, say, my Silver Sonata. And it did work, because I never had a stray bullet in any of my cars. And I didn't have a garage, so they were in the driveway or on the street. My cars never got shot. The only time my car's ever been shot is when I was driving it. That was a different block and a different situation, and those bullets were for me. I am a Sagittarius, yes. I can't do dabs. Like, I can hang with most substances, but what I can't fuck with is THC. Nearly like the others, like forget it. Any hard drugs, alcohol, whatever, give it to me, I'm fine. I can drink, smoke, snort. I can put anybody under the table except for with pot. And I've done dabs twice. I know I can't hang. The last time I did dabs, I was sitting at my friend's house. I did 3 dabs, and then I ordered Jimmy John's. I was so fucking high that I ordered Jimmy John's, and they delivered it, and mind was blown by how fast they got there. they got to the house. But anyways, they bring me my sandwich. I pay them. I'm sitting here on the couch, and I got a JJ Gargantuan, and I can't even start to eat it. I'm looking at this fucking sandwich, and I'm so high, I can't even start to eat it because I don't know why. It took me a long time to get started. I eventually did get started. I ate some of it, and then I fell asleep on my buddy's couch. I said, I don't know, I don't know what we just freebased, but I got to go to sleep. Alligators are less predictable than thugs. Thugs are predictable. Thugs are pretty predictable. We moved out right before the 15 days to flatten the curve because we decided that that's not the neighborhood we wanted to weather the apocalypse in. And the apartment complex, there's an apartment complex just up the street, about a block, and it was really, really falling into straight ghetto dilapidation, just all sorts of bad news up there. And people from that apartment complex would walk the alley behind our house to get to the convenience store on the other side. And so we got a lot more super sketchy foot traffic through the alley, which I never had an issue with. But again, this young family up the street a little bit, I know that they would get trouble coming from out there. And it just was getting worse. I wouldn't fuck with a cobra. Yeah, and it's not for lack of trying. Hell, maybe I was trying too hard when I was growing up. I think I was 13 the first time I smoked pot. I don't know. But growing up through like middle school and high school, I had a lot of older friends. I looked old for my age. I acted old for my age. I had a fake ID at 15 that worked. So I was always around older kids, even in middle school and shit. Like a lot of my friends were like the high school weed guys. Who knows? Maybe I was not walking into the shallow and just diving in the deep end. But yeah, I can't smoke nug blunts, and I just can't do that shit. It was never my thing anyways. It was kind of boring. I wish it had been. Life would have been a lot easier. Actually, now that I'm getting older, I've started enjoying it a little bit more. Like the last few times I tried it, it's been a while. But I have noticed that as I get older, I take to it a little better. But I also am not out partying and trying to pick up chicks or, whatever, flip this, or I'm just not living a rowdy lifestyle like I used to be. Also, I enjoyed edibles. I would consider that. I don't have any issues with snakes. I like snakes. I have no concerns about them. Yep. Stay tuned. On the next episode, I'll tell you about the time I did get the car shot while I was driving. Katie was there. Are they shooting us? Yes. Klepto, do you have reptiles on hand that are accessible? You're speaking like somebody who maybe has access to reptiles. I'm just a humble bucket farmer with 2 cats. My brother had a python for a little while, like a little ball python. I think it was after I moved out of the house. He's a younger brother. You like that? The bucket farm is pretty G. My peas are growing like a motherfucker. Jimmy, I got something else that you're going to like too. I don't know if you ever go on wish.com and buy Chinese knockoff stuff, but this little Trigicon RMR knockoff it was like $60 shipped, and it's pretty fucking tits. And if you're not familiar with Trigicon RMRs, a not knockoff would be like $600. But here's the thing about reptiles. What would I do with one? Like, one thing I did and still do really want to fucking do is you ever see the show Swamp People, where they go alligator hunting? I want to do that shit for sure. And they're in like little dingy ass tin boats, and they've got like a 22 and a hook or something. That looks fun. I'd do that. And I think it'd be cool to own like a bee farm or some shit. I just don't know what I'd do with these reptiles, except for maybe try to get on like the Ellen DeGeneres show or something. But I probably wouldn't, because I don't like Hollywood or any of those pedos. Oh, you don't need to wait till one day. You can do it now. That's what I've been discovering. I live in a duplex in the burbs. And it's winter in Kansas City. So if I can do it here, you can do it there. What you need to do is you need to go to Home Depot and spend $20 on buckets and seeds and dirt and set it up. I actually ended up buying a grow light, but you don't need to. Clean their poop. I'm still trying to find somebody to clean my poop. I don't even like cuddling people I have sex with. Yeah, you got to read the reviews. So I was scrolling around Wish, and I read the reviews on this, and it had all positive shit. So even though it was a little bit more than like others of the same listings, it had the reviews to back it up. And I'm telling you, I don't know. You get the idea. It looks a lot better when you're not getting a glass lens, looking at a glass lens, but this thing is fucking tits. She wouldn't let you have a bucket farm? Fine, tell her she can starve with the rest of the peasants when the dollar collapses. You want me to flirt with her? You want me to hit on her? She'll come around. I'm not going to sleep with her. What'd she look like? Hydroponics are further along than I am. I'm not there yet. Just kidding. No, I don't snuggle the cats. I'm just not a snuggler. Like, I want my space. I snuggle by hooking an ankle. Like, I'll cross ankles with my girlfriend. when I'm laying with my back to her, I'll push a leg back and overlap ankles, and that's snuggling. I was just kidding. Oh, about snuggling? I'm not opposed to it. It's just, it turns out that anytime I'm snuggling, it's because I'm horny. Well, and then I'm not interested in snuggling anymore. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to wrap up. Fuck. Then Jimmy hits me with this interesting question. Un momento. I want to talk about DMT. I have not tried DMT. I would like to try DMT, I think. Have you tried DMT? I've done shrooms a handful of times. I love shrooms. I've done ecstasy and Molly quite a bit, but that's not really a psychedelic in my experience. It's more of a tweak, like whatever. I mean, let's be honest, most ecstasy is just meth pressed into a capsule, and Molly is the same thing. I've done acid one time, but it wasn't. I didn't end. It was either too weak or I didn't take enough, because really all it did was make the lights at the strip club look a little bit cool and snaky. I didn't really have a proper acid trip, and since then, I've acid just freaks me the fuck out. I've seen enough bad trips. I know shrooms works for me. I enjoyed the fuck out of shrooms. Love shrooms. Haven't done shrooms in probably 15 years, but love the shit out of them. I just had no reason to ever want to try acid after that, because it just it looked too risky, and like there's no reason not to just basically do shrooms instead. DMT seems different. Um, um, all right. Cammy's done DMT and loves it. Um, Jimmy, yes, and holy F, I'd do it forever if I could. So 2 advocates of DMT. I don't know, man. Like, can you have a bad trip on it? I've never heard of anybody having a bad DMT trip, but I'm assuming that you can. I, of course, don't do anything illegal and would not condone anything illegal. But if I were somewhere illegal, wherever DMT is legal, Brazil or some shit, I'd probably consider doing it. There's a few things. Can you have a bad DMT trip? And how do you know, like, that you're getting good DMT and not like cut? Like, I don't know what DMT looks like. I've never done it. I don't even know how you do it. I think you smoke it or eat it or some shit. Jimmy's only done acid once and will never again. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I have seen people have really bad acid trips and they're freaking the fuck out. They're not having a good time. Now, I've also heard a lot of people say acid is, it changes your life and blah, 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 and in a lasting way, whatever. Like, I don't think shrooms did that for me. I don't think any drug has ever, like, whoa, opened my eyes and spiritually changed me to shit. I think what I do on shrooms is I spent a whole fucking night staring at a potted plant and laughing my ass off, which is great. But I don't know, DMT sounds like something else. How do I get my chick to open up to the idea of adding a girl to our relationship? Well, don't add a girl to your relationship. Don't do that, because that's going to be a fucking mess. And nobody likes dealing with all that shit. Done acid 5 times, always had a good time. 3 of those times were through a friend who has bugged out during the trip. Cammy did way too much acid. All right, so are you asking about a threesome, or are you asking about a third party to your relationship? Because I would say don't do that. Don't add a third person relationship, but do get a threesome. And a gram sounds like too much. Yeah, it does. Like, I get down on some woo-woo vibration-y stuff. I get it. Yeah. I get down on the woo-woo. I like astrology. I like tarot cards. When I was in jail the last time, since I was a bad son and I kept getting arrested, I told my mom and since I was in jail with no bond, like no bail was revoked, I told my mom, I'll read whatever books you want to send me. And because she'd been trying to save my soul and shit for a minute because, well, I was sort of callous and mean. But she sent me a lot of kind of new agey, things that would be in the spiritual new age section at Barnes and Noble. And some of it was kind of cool, I can't lie. Vedic astrology blew me out of the water. Piss, I haven't forgot about you. I'm coming back. I'm just waiting for you to clarify whether you're asking about a relationship or a threesome here. Um, yeah, Vedic astrology is what really sort of blew me out of the water, and I actually have my chart. Um, and actually, I can pull yours if you want. Cammy, if you want me to pull yours, I'm signed up for the Vedic astrology place because I got mine pulled, and I had a chick who is a friend, and she is Indian. She lives in India. Sort of introduced me to this shit, and after that, I said, "Sign me up." I pulled mine. I pulled my girlfriend's. I pulled my mom's. I just pulled everyone's around me. Um, and I have another sort of video idea I've been wrestling with for a while, or that I've had for a while, and then just never even started on it, was doing a video and just presenting my Vedic astrology chart, because some of the things in it are astonishing and specific. It really was amazing. So yeah, Vedic astrology is interesting. If you want me to pull yours, I can. Just email me there with all the things. I really should do that video. Oh shit. You were born 2 days before me. Okay, so in my experience, I guess my advice would be, and I mean, I haven't had a threesome in like 3 years, so I don't know that I'm the best one to be asking. But you cannot recommend the girl, the third girl. If you recommend her, if you say, "What about her?" I promise you that chick will be off limits to your girlfriend forever. Your girlfriend will dislike her. What you have to do is your girlfriend has to recommend the additional girl. So however you can finagle that, probably it's best to get your girlfriend a little sauced and just sort of set up a situation where the obvious solution is at hand. The other thing is it will probably get emotionally messy. So try to choose somebody who isn't like her best friend, or somebody that you can distance yourself from quickly, because that's how girls' friendships get ruined. Yeah, Cammy's on the level. That is really important. Let her choose the girl. And probably without being too forward about it, watch porn together and do that with your girlfriend, and do that intentionally. My pleasure. Let me know if it works. I expect pics. 10 people. This is the most people who have showed up all night, and everyone's here just to find out how to get a threesome. If you're here to find out how to get a threesome, please subscribe to the channel. Help me get 1,000 subscribers so that I can start making bank, because this my bucket farm, it takes like 60 days to get crops. But yeah, I think that I would try DMT. Yellow powder, huh? I had yellow blow back in the day, and that stuff was good. Mhm. I mean, he's not wrong. Uh, I mean, he might be wrong. You are playing stupid games. You have to understand that you're asking for trouble. Um, so you got to let your girl lead the way. You got to let her choose the girl. You just can't. If you push her into something that she's uncomfortable with or isn't ready for, it's gonna end up bad, and it might end up bad like in the middle of the threesome, which is just when like nobody has time to deal with nonsense emotional issues when we're trying to get a double blowjob. You know what I mean? So, um, let her. You can show her the water, but you can't make her drink it. And booze helps. Yeah. And then afterwards helps. Like have that person like Uber home afterwards. And also, also you might want to make sure that like you're not setting yourself up for expectations later. Like you got two chicks, now I want two guys because I don't know about you, but the things are not equivalent to me, and there's no part of me on earth that would consider that. Um, well, try some middle steps. Hire a private cam girl, or depending on where you are, you can maybe find an escort or a stripper or something. Like strippers are great. These are the intermediaries that'll get you there. Sex workers, strippers, all that all that comes with. I mean, it's just assumed that it's transactional and not emotional, which I assume is what your girl's hang up is, would be the emotional concerns. What if my boyfriend and this chick fall in love or whatever? That's the concern. So anything you can do to make it more transactional, have it be someone you don't know, have it be an actual transaction. Um, yeah, make sure you don't back yourself into that corner because that's a deal breaker right there. Two guys at once is just very unappealing. See, that's an arrangement I could get on board with. But and it sounds like you guys are already understand the way that things are. That's the way I've always been too. It's like, I understand things aren't fair, I don't mean to be a dick, but I have no interest in a fair relationship at all. If you're looking for somebody who you can have fair shit with, you need to find a different dude, because I'm not. Nah, that ain't happening. Yes, they are. Damn it. I hate it when this happens. There's this much cigarette left. Do I really want to relight it? Yes, they are. And the problem with strippers is you got to know what you're doing. Like for this situation, you got to know that you can get a stripper out of the club, which means you got to walk in with some cash. It's because they can't just leave their shift without the house getting some money. So, and chances are they'll just end up dancing on you and dancing on her and taking you both for it. All right. Thanks for watching, Jimmy. Have a good morning or night or whatever. Strippers do love women. Why is that? Because they're less leery. Probably because they're less creepy. It's like the gay friend. Strippers love women. Chicks all want or have a gay friend. Got a party coming up here in about a month and a half. We rented out the whole strip club. It'll be great. Rented out the strip club and 2-for-1 dances, and we're setting up a boxing ring outdoors. It'll be a great show to throw down. It's probably because girls control the money, and strippers know that. Like, if your girl and the stripper are having a good time, you can't not tip and keep throwing out money. The Sapphire Lounge in Las Vegas. I went to the Sapphire Lounge in Vegas. When was that? 2016. It's the biggest strip club in North America, and we went there. 15 of us. We all went to high school together, and we flew down on Halloween weekend for a bachelor party, and we stayed at the Hard Rock during the Freaks and Fetishes ball. But the first night there, we went to the Sapphire Lounge, which is, like I said, the biggest strip club in North America, and we got the VIP. And VIP there's 3 stages, and they're all elevated, and they have glass floors. And the VIP, where we were, is underneath the main stage. And so we showed up, and they brought us in, and we went to the VIP area. They let us back there, and there's little couches and shit, and the bottle service with that stuff. And then they paraded in through both ends, about 2 to 3 girls per guy, so probably 30, 35 girls. And let me tell you, that was a strip club experience. That was a good time. in other similar news, don't buy Coke from anybody standing next to an ashtray with white sand in it. I didn't do that because I'm not fucking retarded and I don't condone illegal things. But I do have a buddy who was like, I bought Coke, and he like opens up this like little janky, somebody folded paper into an envelope, and inside of it is white ashtray sand. Never been to Austin. I doubt that. I don't think that my eyes being open or shut is the problem. I don't know. You could be right. I just don't think you are. I don't think any amount of darkness can make dudes not be dudes. Same, and I don't mean to sound like a douchebag, but it is 4 a.m. Same thing with fat chicks. I'm sorry, you can't turn the lights off on some things, and penises are one of them. I mean, certainly, I do see. Certainly, basically, mine, I think everyone's personal experience would suggest that they are. But, but you did experience it. So you know that from a firsthand experience. I don't know that from a firsthand experience. I'm not open to trying. So I think that in and of itself sort of agrees with us. About this though, I guess what I've always wondered is that a biological or a sociological thing, or both? Girls are. Yeah, I think so. You know what? There could be a lot of vicarious guy shit going on that I just don't know about. Every now and then I shock myself with my own ignorance to things. Like, I consider myself pretty right wing. And about a month ago, I was in a Discord chat and I encountered actual fucking white supremacists. And it sort of blew me off my feet. Like, because I just assumed the whole white supremacist thing was bullshit and a paper tiger. And so I was startled when I actually ran into racists because, I don't know, I'm just not around them. And I assume that when I'm not around doesn't exist. So maybe like white supremacists, there's a lot of vicarious dudes out there doing gay shit that I don't know about. But equally, or is it like it seems like most girls who are bi are really more into guys, but find girls attractive. Would you be in a relationship with a girl? Like a long-term committed, this is my exclusive girlfriend. Oh yeah. Women get on women's nerves for sure. Would you give Klepto a second run at the at Vag? I think we're on the cusp of something great here. How old are you? Cammy's not old. Cammy's 34. 34 is perfectly young. Nope. You're fine. You just can't fall in love. Faux show. Seven out of 10, or Enneagram 7, or life, numerology life path number 7, which I'm an 11. If anybody was wondering, my numerology life path number is 11, the master number. If anybody was wondering. Your brain is as developed as it's going to get. Face it, you stunted your development by watching SpongeBob SquarePants and eating Totina's pizza that's made out of straight chemicals. What, my life path number? What do you love for me? What are your 3 favorite things about me? Everybody take a turn. Yeah, I think it's cool too. I don't really know much about it, but I know that I'm an 11, and well, I was born on the 11th, and some things 11s and 3s are come up for me a lot. I got a lot of 11s and 3s around. If you start looking for this sort of stuff, I was married on 1/1/11, which my ex-wife chose that marriage day to sort of a play on my number, and that didn't that marriage didn't work out at all. By 1/1/12, I'd filed for divorce. Oh well, yeah. See, you don't develop out of that. And what is life path 3? I really don't know basically anything about this stuff. My ex-wife got into it. I liked being able to say I'm a master number. And when I look into numerology and stuff, like I've looked into it enough to think that there's actually something going on there that I don't understand. Just like astrology and most of the woo-woo fucking new age magical shit. Like I think that there's stuff going on here. I just don't have a grip on it. But it is fascinating in sort of a, I don't know what sort of way. I like getting my tarot cards read, shit like that. And I don't know. I wouldn't say I believe in tarot cards, but I believe in certain people's ability to tap into whatever cosmic goop they can tap into. I believe that some people can use tarot cards or however and actually start fucking hitting something in the cosmic goop. No, we've got a very adversarial relationship. Luckily, my daughter's old enough to have her own phone, and I don't have to deal with, and I've got sole custody, so I don't have to deal with her much. The circle of life. Today's live stream is sponsored by Doom Kitty. That's a fourth slot NI joke. More like Roblox and Sun Chips. Or ramen noodles. She loves ramen. My daughter's always had this weird, like, she's a picky eater and she only likes the very cheapest of foods or the very most expensive of foods. So, like, she's always loved steak ever since she was a little kid. And she loves ramen noodles. She loves cereal and crackers and just plain ass carbs, plain processed carbohydrate foods. She also likes, I made ahi tuna. a couple weeks ago, where you get a tuna steak and just sort of sear the outsides and the middle's still sort of sushi. And I did not expect her to like that, but she did, of course, because it's an expensive food. Roblox is a stupid game. Yeah, it would. Cheese, fruit, simple carbs. Um, she, yeah, she didn't want to try new stuff really. I remember she wouldn't eat Taco Bell for the longest time. If we were like in the car and needed to get something to eat, we could only get plain cheeseburgers from McDonald's. Couldn't have anything on it. She didn't like French fries. She wouldn't eat at any other place. And finally, one day I was like, I'm getting fucking Taco Bell. I like Taco Bell. And she was crying and crying. She was like 4. And I got a tostada and I said, eat this. And she took a bite. It was sniffling and kept eating it. And then she was done and she was like, can I have another one? And I was like, see, you fucking like other things. But now that Taco Bell's taken tostadas off the menu, she won't try anything else from Taco Bell. So yeah, I got an account and I played with her for a little while, but I got rid of it. She also got me to get a TikTok account, which I had a lot of fun on back in the day. But I got rid of TikTok because it's straight Chinese spyware, which most of this stuff is. If you've got an Apple phone, the Chinese are cataloging all your shit. I'm this guy. Oh shit. My camera cover slid down. I'm slacking. I am slacking, y'all. I've got cardboard in the back of my phone case over the camera, and you can't see it, but on the front here, maybe you can a little bit. I've got electrical tape over the cameras. Fuck Zuckerberg, fuck Bezos, fuck all those people. What kind of digital art do you do? You should email me some art. I put my email up there somewhere. I'll drop it again. Well, I just remove and then reapply the electrical tape. I've already got a whole folder of selfies. So if I need a different selfie than one of the 70 or so in my selfies folder, I can just take the tape off and indulge my vanity. Hustle me some art. The flow state art, the letters, Trey Pierce made, and I'm happy with the flow state script when the whole thing's spelled out. what I'd like is a logo that's different. I don't want a logo that's just FS. It just seems basic. So I'm not saying I'll buy your shit or even like it or that it's even good. You might have sucky art. But I don't know what you're talking about, really. I don't know. If that's something that you make, holler at your boy. I like supporting people who are doing their own things. And especially now more than ever since the lockdown started. And I don't know if you guys pay attention to the economics of the situation, but the way that wealth since the lockdown started has been consolidated massively into the hands of the very few, and the middle class is getting decimated. So I do everything. I won't give a dime to Amazon. And for Christmas, I told everybody not to get me anything off Amazon. Of course, they did anyways, but I'm always looking for ways to put money into people's hands and not the massive or overlords. No, I don't want the lettering. That's the thing, is I want a different logo that's not the initials. I don't know what I want it to be. When you think about logos, most places don't just have their, most good logos aren't initials. Like the Nike swoosh is classic. It's so basic. It's so simple. It's all you need to see. I think that better branding for Flow State would have a logo. I don't know what it is. Again, I haven't thought about it much, but I am not an artist in this sense, and certainly not a digital artist. And even if I did think of something, I want to keep the Flow State lettering that Trey made. I just want a different logo that seems to fit in with that. So I'm just sort of thinking out loud now. You are a graphic designer. You're whatever you want to be. You're a 23-year-old lesbian with a 34-year-old girlfriend who's mature enough to make all her own decisions and has pet alligators. You guys have about worn me out. How long have I been going for? 2 hours and 6 minutes. I've got a really clean, 2-hour being on camera and thinking out loud limit. I assume I'm quite sure it's the same for all ESTPs. My thoughts are not verbal. I think logically, but I don't think in words. So for me to articulate a thought, I have to sort of backtrack and then reconstruct the logic that got me there in words, which might be interesting. But anyways, at about 2 hours, I've noticed my brain starts kind of crapping out. My aunt had a pet rat. They're good pets. They're smart. Their tails are fucking nasty. I never minded, like, when we'd feed my brother's snake mice. Like, it is life. Nothing to get fussy about. If you insist. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe so that I can get 1,000 subscribers, and then start making bank all over the place for just kidding. But I am getting the monetization light is in sight if I don't get kicked off of YouTube before then. So if you're not a subscriber, please do consider it. If you're on BitChute, check me out there as well. Patreon, PayPal, those things are in the description box below. All the support is always appreciated. And like, subscribe, do all the things. Do all the things. Thanks for watching. Have a good morning, I guess, now.